You know, we kick it off. Kick it off by saying, Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the ways of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in his law do we meditate day and night. For we shall be like trees planted by the rivers of water, that bringeth forth its fruit in its season. His leaves shall not wither, and whatsoever we do shall prosper. The ungodly are not so. They are like a chaff which the wind driveth away. Yes, man. Share up the channel. Share up the channel, my people. Like up the live. Yes, man. I could touch styles here with them I say.
Must say a bread this morning.
Jody, Topsy, Genocide and Stacy, in association with Promoters Fridays and Posh Nightclub presents a night call for the hard way. Friday, December 27th at Posh Nightclub, Portland. Music by Les 5000, DJ Jagger, DJ Ripley, and Cartel finally. Entertainment by Trina and Scrapehead. We got a big luncheon happening in the day at Love Lane. It's for the hard way. Friday, December 27th. It's an intense Fridays event.
Higher line. Get a wine, carry drive, that a sign. Richer than most, carry higher life.
Billy Slaughter, this I represent with Veteran Sunday, you know. December 29th, you know, in the R&R Plaza, you know, Port Morant. Billy Slaughter alongside Flower Gun. I remember them about 3 from 3 to 7 in the evening.
Now, this is excitement galore. Styles FM is now upgrading its app for your listening pleasure. Android users, please switch to Styles FM Jamaica app on your Play Store. And iPhone users, all you got to do is go to your app store and upgrade your Styles FM radio app. We got new look, new features, and more to choose from. It's easy to use, no subscription required. Styles FM, the world listens. Soul Food Family presents their annual Souls Party called Soul Food New Year's Eve celebration on Tuesday, December 31st at Club Atlantic, Mansion Hill, Portland. Music by the Captain Colin, Fire Reds, and Furley High, powered by Lover's Choice Sound International. Admission $1,000. It's gonna be a big New Year's Eve celebration at Soul Food, Tuesday, December 31st at Club Atlantic, Mansion Hill, Portland.
My lady soul.
It is back again. Ramsey's Hardware massive paint sale at 34 Folly Road, Port Antonio, Portland. We stock a wide variety of brands and colors. Get 10 to 15% off Berger, BH, Diamond, and Sherwin-Williams paints. Open 7 days per week, 8 a.m. to 6:30 p.m. Call us at 876-715-5132 or 876-715-5134. Come experience the 3 C's: comfort, competitive prices, and convenience. It's Ramsey's Hardware massive paint sale from November 5 to December 31st.
Chicken feed has increased at least 5 times in the last year.
Talk to me. Talk to me. This and every Tuesday evening from 8 p.m. until 10 p.m. on Styles FM 96.1, 96.5, 96.7, all on your FM band. Shortcut to the fame. Colin, Anthony, talk to me live on Styles FM. Call me on 804-7072. WhatsApp 804-7072. Let's make this a night to remember.
It's a night to remember. Get ready.
Yes, sire. Yes, sire. Yes, sire. Share up the channel. Want to take time out, Jacko? Let's go straight tonight. Father Jacko inside the studios at Styles FM and, of course, Caribbean Radio HD over there in New York and in Florida, Internet Radio. We are live on Portland Spice TV and we are on Granny Nanny at Facebook. We have on the line right away, you know, the professor himself, the man who some people think him a magician. Ralston Hyman, good evening.
Yes, sir. Good evening to you and your listeners.
Season's greetings, my brother, and thanks for taking time out on Christmas Eve. No Grand Market?
No.
No grand market. What, the money not enough?
Money not enough.
Ralston, we are in serious times.
Yeah, man. Very serious.
Very serious times. And we are not what they call bad news or, because some of them want to silence people.
Well, they have the good news or, the false news or, and the flawed news or. Yeah.
So, will it power?
Yeah, man.
Well, we are talking about the truth.
Yeah, man. We follow data.
And we're not telling nobody that we're balanced. What we speak is what we know as the truth, the whole truth, man, and nothing but the truth. Ralston, from the beginning of the year, and even in last year, we were saying that government policies were wrong.
Yeah, man.
The government was paying more than they need to pay on the debt. Give us a background on all of that before we come up to the time now.
And they are still doing it as at the period January to September. The primary surplus, which is the amount of money we accumulate to service the debt, was running at 107 billion, which should have been only 97 billion. So they are still doing it.
So 107 billion when all we need was 97 billion. So we're talking about 10 billion more than we needed to pay.
And that has been a consistent practice over the last 6 years under Clark's stewardship. So those who are wondering what is happening to the roads and the hospitals and the schools and all those things, that's the answer.
So the government preferred to pay the bank more money than the banks required.
Precisely.
So the bank said to you, pay me $20 million a year. But the government decided to pay $25 million a year.
Yeah.
And while
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
While doing that, they starve the country's human capital as well as the country's physical capital. That is why everything has broken down.
And let's look at this. While paying the banks more than they need to pay, JUTC run aground.
Yeah, man.
So in 2016, JUTC had 460 buses. Today, they only have 240.
They carried 62 million passengers. Today, they are carrying 16 million passengers.
Quarter of what they used to carry. Hence, we're seeing gridlock in the city of Kingston. You can't go anywhere fast, and therefore a slowing down of production.
Correct. And a waste of foreign exchange, because all of that parts and gasoline, we don't make any of them. We have to import them.
We have to import them. Our roads went into donkey
emergency.
trucks.
The Prime Minister declared them an emergency. This is the first time in the history of Jamaica that has ever happened.
So you are the Prime Minister for 8 years. And the road reach a stage now till you have to declare an emergency. What does that really say to the people?
And it's not because you don't have any resources, because you collect more taxes than any other previous government and you get more money to borrow than any other previous government.
So you have more money at your disposal than any other government in independent Jamaica.
Precisely.
So what really go on then, Ralston?
Misallocation of those resources. As we said before, them spend most of those resources to unnecessarily bring the debt to GDP ratio down to 70%. As at the same time, they sacrifice the country's infrastructure and human capital.
So
that's what everybody does. That's
sacrifice.
What everybody does. That's why the road they mash up. That's why the hospital they mash up, and you have to sit down and chair for 3-4 days before you get a bed. All of that. That's why the JUTC has been run aground. All of those things.
But Christopher Tufton at conference said that when he came in to be the Minister of Health, the budget to the health ministry was $60 billion. The budget to the health ministry now is $120 billion. So how the hospital them for mash up?
Well, I mean, a significant portion of those resources were misallocated. So when people are talking about the health ministry cannot account for $900 billion of the $3 trillion.
Hold on. The health ministry can't account for $695 billion.
Yep.
That is for them. The education ministry have not given the account for $902 billion.
$1 billion.
We want to talk about that, but we don't want to reach there so yet. Because you talk about the hospital, them mash up. How can the hospital them not at optimum, but the government is admitting that we are not short on money?
So what they are telling you is that the money has been misallocated. That is why the $695 billion cannot be accounted for.
Ralston, education,
Same
a
thing.
critical sector in any country's development. $902 billion over 9 years.
Yep.
With the matter of Ruel Reid. However, the present Ministry of Finance is trying to say to the people of Jamaica, no money, no missing. We are going to account for it.
I was running that ministry for a very long time.
But
the present minister is also culpable in that regard. So whether you want to say it missing or it unaccounted for, the fact of the matter is that the Auditor General has no appropriations accounts for all of that money. And until we get those accounts and can properly audit them, whether you want to use the word missing or unaccounted for or stolen, whatever, the country hasn't determined and is not in a position to determine whether we got value for those monies. Simple.
But it gets worse, Ralston. The Ministry of Finance, for the last 4 years, have not accounted for $1 trillion.
Under the great Nigel Clark, yes.
Why people want to blame us, Ralston, when we put these things on the table?
Because they are in denial, and the longer they stay in denial, is the more the country is going to deteriorate, and is the more we are going to see all these conditions that they wring their hands about, not knowing that these are the factors that are driving them. They are in denial.
You've been saying it, and a lot of people question when you talk, but they question without the numbers. What do you say to those people?
Well, I'll tell them that they must get the numbers because you can't analyze anything rationally or properly without the numbers. They're dealing with emotions and party affiliations. We're dealing with data and Jamaica. That's the big difference.
But them say you're PNP, Ralston.
Well, whatever they want to say, there's no PNP data or JLP data. What they want to do is to create PNP data and JLP data. Data is data, and it's data that determines if you make good policy. All the good countries in the world that are doing well, their decisions are data-driven.
Where do you get your data from?
The same official sources, the Planning Institute of Jamaica, the Bank of Jamaica, the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, the IMF, the World Bank, the U.S. Federal Reserve Board, the European Central Bank, the Bank of England, the Bank of Japan, the People's Bank of China, all of those sources.
So you don't get data from places where nobody else can get it?
No, precisely.
So where you are talking from is that if people are interested, and some of those people who are saying everything good, if they want to tell the truth, they could have find it. Precisely.
And if the people who are interviewing them were au fait with the data, then they'll know when they are giving misleading information. For example, Mr. Chung gives a whole lot of misleading data.
You know, Ralston, that's a critical part of the thing, A lot of people are conducting interviews and they have
a clue as to what they're talking about.
Exactly. Yeah. So they don't know the questions to ask. Therefore, they can't get the truth.
Yeah, precisely.
And it's not just
a lot of people. It's not just a lot of people. They are the main people who put up themselves to be interviewing everybody and say they are the top people. So that makes it even worse. The people who say they are the top people and conduct the most interviews, they have no clue about what they're talking about. So they have no clue when people are giving them misleading information.
Or is it that some of them are part of the colored scheme, so they don't
Some of them are colored, and some of it is unconscious incompetence.
Is it that the Fourth Estate has falling down on the job, Ralston?
Yeah, man. Fourth Estate, the University of the West Indies and civil society, yes, as well as the private sector association. They are very wimpish.
Why do you blame the University of the West Indies as a part of the falling down of getting this information out to the people?
Well, in the 1970s, the Department of Economics at the UWI played a very important role in policy making. We haven't seen that again during this dispensation. We hear nothing coming out of the Department of Economics at the UWI.
Or is it that the fourth estate don't engage them enough? Because
no, man, the fourth estate engaged them a lot. And I'm saying that we don't get anything that is sensible coming from them. And because the fourth estate, a lot of the members of the fourth estate, they are in awe of those people from the Department of Economics. So any nonsense them talk, them just run with it.
You think fear is a part of why people don't come out and speak the way you speak the figures?
Yeah, man, fear and ignorance. Yeah, a combination of both.
Now, Ralston, let's get into the figures as they are.
Mm-hmm.
We have seen deceleration, many quarters of deceleration.
10 consecutive quarters of deceleration before barrel.
10 consecutive quarters. The economy been going down the hill before barrel. So for every quarter is 3 months. Yeah?
Yep.
3 months make up a quarter out of the calendar year, or even if the
fiscal year.
Even if the fiscal year is 12 months, so 3 months is a quarter. So 10 quarters straight, 30 months.
Yeah, man.
We have seen where the economy been going down the hill.
Yeah, man.
And Ralston Hyman, myself, a student of Ralston, we've been talking about this. But people say, even the Prime Minister himself, said that we are spreading false news.
Yeah.
The Statistical Institute of Jamaica said that the last quarter, we didn't grow any at all. We dropped by what, 2.8%?
We declined by 2.8%. That came from the PIOJ. Statin told us that during the second quarter we flatlined 0.2%. So 1.4% drop in the first quarter from 4.2% in the first quarter of the previous year. And then 0.2% in the second quarter compared with 2.3% during the same period of the previous year. And third quarter we're now minus 2.8% compared with 5.9% in the third quarter of the previous year.
And what is the prediction for the fourth quarter?
Minus 1.4%, 1.5%, and the fourth quarter ending 7 days.
And 2 quarters of decline
is a recession anywhere in the world, in any economics class, in any multilateral agencies. The definition of a recession is 2 consecutive quarters decline in real GDP, and that's where we are right now.
So you are saying that we are in a recession.
Yeah, man.
But officially, 7 days' time, nobody can refute it.
No.
Because some people are still hoping. What those hopes are based on, Ralston?
Based on nothing. Most of the agencies are already concluded that that's where we are. It's based on nothing. That's falsehood.
Why is it that in a situation like this, we don't hear from the Minister of Finance?
Well, I mean, the Minister of Finance hasn't said anything that is of any significance since she came to that ministry.
Are you going to have her on?
She hasn't said anything or done anything significant since she arrived at that ministry.
If anybody watching us now or listening to us who might live under a stone somewhere, Ralston Hyman is the economic talk show host, the #1 economic commentator, analyst, anywhere in this side of the world.
And a foundation member of the Economic Program Oversight Committee.
Right. He hosts a program every weekday morning, Mondays to Fridays, on Power 106 FM, a station owned by the RJR Gleaner Communication Group. He's on from 9 o'clock to 11 o'clock. So let me make that clear. Ralston, will you be having the finance minister on your show anytime soon?
Well, I doubt that because people like those, they do not come on that show.
But
The Prime
Ralston,
Minister, we have extended the show to him on several occasions. He hasn't turned up. Nigel Carr came a couple of times, spent 2 hours most of the time when he came. They're afraid to come on that show.
but Ralston, if the country is where we know it's at, isn't it prudent that the Minister of Finance makes herself available on the top financial show?
Of course. But these people go on the shows where the people don't know what to ask them, so they can't say anything that they want to say. And the people just quote them and say the minister said. They don't want to take hard and critical questions, so they're afraid of my program.
We've heard you calling on the private sector, civil society, to join you in the call for the banks to cut interest rate, even after the Bank of Jamaica lowered the interest rate 4 times.
Yeah, man.
Finally, we hear some people now joining you.
Yeah, man.
Is it possible that people now will be calling for the minister to come talk to Ralston Hyman and Dr. Andrea Sutherland on Power 106 one of these morning?
Well, we sincerely hope so, because we have been talking about this interest rate thing for almost a year, and we finally see some of the wimpish private sector leaders joining the call, because this is a very important thing, and we're also calling for ministerial intervention if the banks don't voluntarily do it, right? So we hope a lot more people will join the fray and to call, because this is mission critical for Jamaica. What we're seeing, and here's why we're calling for that. Based on the current, people don't understand. Jamaica is only $20 billion as a GDP. The international economy is $105 trillion. America is $29.5 trillion. European Union is $20 trillion. China is $18 trillion. The international economy is dominated by those countries. The Federal Reserve Board, the American Central Bank, is the world's most powerful independent central bank because it manages the American economy and the reserve currency.
Yeah.
Now, what we're seeing is that the Federal Reserve Board started the rate hikes in order to deal with the high levels of inflation, the highest levels of inflation in 40 years caused by COVID-19 and the supply chain breakdown. So that forced international central banks to hike their rates, because if you don't, then there'll be a run on their currency to take advantage of the higher rates in the US, and the US dollar is seen as good money.
Right.
So now that the Fed is coming down, the Bank of Jamaica is taking the opportunity to come down. And what we're seeing is that the banking sector is not responding. Now, when interest rates are lower, it means that you can have more projects and more investments and more jobs and more growth. And that is why we're calling upon the banks to do that, because what we're seeing is that the policies that are going to be pursued by the Trump administration will lead to higher levels of inflation, and then there'll be very few rate cuts. In fact, the chairman of the Fed said there'll be only 1 or 2 rate cuts next year, because inflation is likely to accelerate under the Trump administration.
Right.
So it means that the Bank of Jamaica has very little room to cut rates again. So it means that the country, must get the opportunity to benefit from the 4 rate cuts that are already in place.
And we have not seen the 2 major banks make any move thus far.
No.
Ralston,
No.
If I suggest to you that this present Andrew Holness administration is in the pockets of the banks, hence they are not making any move, what would you say?
Yeah, man, they have demonstrated that they voted en bloc against the proposals by Fitz-Jackson in order to get the banks to behave better in terms of the fees and the services that they give to the public. Yeah, we know that.
So, Andrew Holness and his team voted for the banks against the Jamaican people.
Against the people of Jamaica, yes.
Because Fitz-Jackson brought a bill to the parliament saying, let's defend the people of Jamaica.
That's correct.
And Andrew Holness and his team said no.
Every single man voted against it. Every single one
except
of them.
Mike Henry, who did not turn up.
Yes.
The entire PNP opposition at the time was about what? 32 members?
Yeah, they voted for it. Yeah,
31 voted for the people. And the Andrew Holness-led administration voted for the banks. And therefore, the banks know that they have the backing of this government.
That's correct.
But the people...
To the detriment of the economy and the Jamaican people.
Much people understand that, Ralston?
No, and that is why we are having this continuous education program, trying to get our people to understand the importance of the rate reduction by the banks and let them know that the banks are holding the country hostage.
And who is on their side and who is not.
Precisely.
So, with this recession that we are in now, Ralston, and I ask you this question Saturday morning, but I have to ask you again, what does this mean for the average Joe, the taxi driver, the truck driver?
All right. It means that him will get poorer, right? And him life will get harder. And him woman gonna left him. More man gonna see him and beg him. He have to look out more for the robber them because things are just get harder all around. Simple, straight language.
But explain to them for me. Because the Prime Minister speaks about the fiscal discipline that this government has been dealing with and ensuring that the debt to GDP is down to 70%. Mix that now with the reality of going into a recession for my listeners and viewers.
Yeah, well, the Prime Minister really don't understand too much about economics, because bringing the debt to GDP ratio down to where they have brought it is one of the main factors that has brought the country into a recession. Yeah? So fiscal discipline different from fiscal prudence. Fiscal prudence means that you pay your debt while at the same time taking care of your other responsibility. What the Prime Minister is caught up in a kind of fiscal slavishness where they are bringing the debt down faster than programmed for while scavenging the people and the country's infrastructure. And all the governments that have done that globally has either been voted out or the governments have been toppled. We see the same thing happening in France. We see that happening in South Korea. We see all those problems taking place. The countries that are growing and doing well, none of them are anywhere near any fiscal and a debt to GDP of 60% or 70%. America is 123%. The UK is 100%. The European Union, which created that rule, is 87%. India, 87%. China, 284%. Japan, 253%. So
what about the Scandinavian countries? How they match up?
Yeah, all of them are above the 60%, and they have heavy taxes in order to keep them close to that target.
So what is the benefit? What is the benefit to the teachers and the nurses and the firefighter of Jamaica getting GDP down to 60%? Because that's the target, right?
Yeah. There's none right now. What they're telling you is that they can get more money to borrow cheaper. So what they're doing is sacrificing the economy to borrow money cheaper tomorrow. If you grow, you need less money to borrow, and you can have a better living standard, and you can service the debt on a sustainable basis without sacrificing the next generation.
That is if you grow the economy.
Yeah.
So how then, if they are not growing the economy, how do they get the debt to GDP down to this where we are now?
Well, the big ticket items was when Peter Phillips was there. Venezuela sold us $3 billion in debt for $1.5 billion US. That helped us to save over 20% after the debt. And then when they came in 2017, they changed the definition of the debt and took out the Bank of Jamaica debt, which brought us down to about 80-90%. And remember, that debt to GDP is based on nominal GDP, not real GDP. So we measure growth on real GDP, and we measure debt on nominal GDP. The difference between nominal and real GDP is that you adjust nominal GDP for inflation.
No, Ralston, hold on, let me check where we are. Oh, we're not at that break yet. Look at a country like Trinidad and Tobago. Where's the Trinidad and Tobago debt to GDP?
Trinidad and Tobago is about 64-65%. And remember, they have oil resources. Barbados is 107%, and they grew by 4.4%. For the first 6 months of this year. Jamaica grew by 0.8%. Mia Motley says she's not coming down to any debt to GDP of 60% before the year 2033, 2034.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because she wants policy room to grow the economy and to improve the quality of life of our people.
A country like Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, where are those countries as it relates to
them need for borrow money. Them man are net lenders of money. Them man not really borrow money. Them man have oil resources.
So
their
debt to GDP is single digit.
Yeah, man, because them have them to borrow.
But the difference is they are producing.
Yeah, man, so them not for borrow. They are the ones who lend money.
Ralston, what caused this problem? It's not just paying off the debt faster. What else caused Jamaica to be in this situation now?
Well, as we said before, so the government is a major player in the economy. So if the government uses the bulk of the taxes to pay down the debt and do not invest in education, do not invest in infrastructure, all those things affect productivity. Those things drive away investment. So they have it mixed up. They believe if they pay down the debt, they'll get more investment. But if you pay down the debt and you don't have any roads, you don't have any educated people, and crime is on the loose, then you're not going to get the level of investments that you expect to get, right? Additionally, they have a private sector that is not very innovative. So if the government creates a condition where it is difficult for them to invest, they are not going to push the envelope and invest. They'll continue to gather margins by pushing paper. So we see the central bank, even today, the central bank came out today and said that they are floating a fixed rate CD at 6.5% per annum for 26 months, and that's $30 billion. So the private sector rather to put their money into those things. So what we see, we have the government at the same time tightening the money supply, Bank of Jamaica tightening money supply. And when they tighten money supply, Bank of Jamaica, they issue paper at high rates, and the private sector people play it safe and put their money in paper rather than in production.
But Ralston, I heard the Prime Minister in a speech, I don't remember if it was at the university at the West Indies, was quarreling about in the 90s when government paper used to be what the investors used to invest in, and basically saying that was bad for the country. But the government float about 4 paper within the last month, 2 months?
No, man, more than that. Every day, every week, them float at least 2-3 paper. Today, Christmas Eve, they just floated $30 billion. The Prime Minister talking foolishness. And that is why I'm telling you about the University of the West Indies, because he should be corrected at that point in time when he said that at the University of the West Indies.
But why now that why after him said that and said it was lazy, why are we now floating these papers?
Because they want to use that in order to prevent people from buying the dollar. Right now, the dollar is overvalued. The dollar is trading at 154. So we move from 161 to 154 while the trade deficit is widening. The rate of exchange is supposed to be a function of what is happening in your external accounts. So that kind of voodoo economics where your external accounts is deteriorating, but the value of your currency is appreciated at the same time.
So what you are saying, hold on, what you just said a while ago, the dollar is overvalued?
Yeah, man.
So are you saying that the Jamaican dollar should be at about 170 to 1 US?
No, what we're saying is that based on the measurement, the dollar should be more trading somewhere in the region of 158, 160 rather than 155.
So,
but the reason that it is trading at 155 is because they are taking out all the money out of the system. So that is why people are saying, oh, Christmas are coming and the money out of the system. On the government side, the government is using the taxes to pay the debt faster than programmed for. And on the monetary side, the Bank of Jamaica is taking the money out of the system and locking it up in the vault and paying you to keep it in the vault in order to protect the dollar.
You're listening. Well, Ralston, you're listening to Portland Spice TV. You're listening to Styles FM 96.1, 96.5, 96.7 on the FM band. You're listening to Caribbean Radio HD over there in New York and the tri-state area in Florida on internet radio. They are going to be taking a break on this half hour. Jacko, take the break. Join us on the other side. We continue talking to Ralston Hyman. You're not going to miss a lot, people, I assure you. We're taking the break on Styles FM on Caribbean Radio. We'll soon come back. Ralston, Dr. Clark, people were saying that he was the best thing since sliced bread. You never agreed.
No, I fundamentally disagree. He's just an accountant.
The policies that they were pushing, I said to somebody yesterday that I am yet to hear one policy that will push production, even after the statement about pivoting. I don't hear how we're going to drive production in this country. Have you heard it?
No, you never even use that terminology. You rarely use the terminologies about production and exports. All he talks about is debt to GDP and primary surplus. What he's doing is relegating economics to an accounting exercise, and that is why I never rated him. He has no policy to deal with production. The best way to pay down the debt is to produce more. And if he really did courses in economics, he would know that Professor Paul Samuels contended that the surest way one generation can place a burden on the next generation is to leave a massive debt burden while under-educating them and not spending on infrastructure. And that is exactly what reached Jamaica. His policies brought Jamaica to a recession.
But Ralston, we spoke about this last week, Saturday morning as well. The fact that in 2016, Jamaica's debt was $2 trillion. Presently, we are at $2.3 trillion. Explain that to my listeners, because you agreed earlier that this present administration is paying the debt faster than we should be paying more on the debt than we should be paying. How though we are owing more than we were owing when this GLP administration took office?
Because he's borrowing more at the same time. That's a con that people don't know. Last year we borrowed $139 billion. This year we're borrowing $260 billion.
So these arguments that them come out and say, we're building the perimeter road in Montego Bay and we never borrow a cent. We buy 100 buses and we never borrow a cent.
Remember, the revenues for the budget is only $1 trillion, and the budget is $1.38 trillion. Of that $1.38 trillion, they are borrowing $260 billion.
So they're almost borrowing the 0.3.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they might not borrow directly to buy the buses.
But they're borrowing to fund the budget.
And the money for the buses coming out of the budget.
Correct. Simple.
So
simple.
So hold on. So it's a big con business that going around here.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. And that's why people must follow the figures. The finances for the budget is $1 trillion in taxes, $260 billion in borrowing, $4.6 billion in grants, and the transfer of $887 million from the Capital Development Fund. That's how the budget is going to be funded.
No new taxes. Is
Right.
that true?
Well, no new taxes in the sense that they have named a new category of tax. And that is what is confusing the people, but they are collecting more. Because every time when you have a consumption tax, every time people buy something, as the price of that thing goes up, it means that you pay more taxes. So when something is for $100 and you pay the tax on it, you pay $15. When it moves to $200, you pay $30 in taxes. So they are guaranteed to collect more taxes without naming a new category of taxes. And that is how they con the people. So they have named a new category of taxes, but they are collecting more taxes.
Compare Jamaicans, how we are taxed compared to other countries like us around the world.
Well, the 30% of GDP is one of the highest in Latin America and the Caribbean, and it's comparable to the European Union, where people see what they get for their taxes. Good hospitals, nuclear bunkers.
Hold on,
yeah, as you
hold
call
on.
the ambulance.
Hold on, slow down. You are saying that Jamaicans, we are taxed 30%
of GDP.
Of GDP.
One of the highest tax rates in Latin America and the Caribbean.
How much is American tax?
Well, America is about 25% of GDP. You know, the Scandinavian countries, them touch up the 30%.
So this and listeners and viewers, the Scandinavian countries are countries like them European
Sweden
countries,
and Denmark
Sweden,
and all of them places.
But in those countries, you get free health care.
Everything you get.
Proper free health care, not free health care like Jamaica.
Yeah,
Them have them have nuclear bunker we can take in the entire country. If a nuclear bomb is supposed to be dropped, they will be secured. Yeah. They have proper roads. They have free education up to the tertiary level.
Yeah, man.
But you are saying in Latin America and the Caribbean, Jamaica is the most taxed country?
Yeah, man, we have one of the highest rates, and I'm saying our rates are comparable to the European Union, where their rates are upwards of 30, 34, 35. So that's who we are keeping company with in terms of taxes, but in terms of the services that the people are getting, we are way below. So we get the taxes, and we use the taxes and pay the debt, and not spend none upon the people.
Let me welcome back the listeners on Styles FM and on Caribbean Radio HD. We're talking to Ralston Hyman, the #1 financial analyst in Jamaica and anywhere in the Caribbean. Somebody sent me a message earlier that they would love to see a one-on-one with you and the Prime Minister. I want to tell them that I am sure.
We invite him all for time and turn up.
And he's not going to turn up.
No, with the over and over we invite him and tell him, so we give him the whole program. I'm not coming. No, come on.
And you don't favor I'll go and come?
No, instead I got him send Marlon Morgan to come tell the people and say, hold on and follow Ralston.
But why shouldn't we?
Why
shouldn't we, when you told us from earlier this year, that or from last year, that the policy, because you told Nigel Clark to him face, the policies are bad policies.
Bad policies.
And here we are now. Ralston, you remember 2016 when they said that they were going to increase the income tax threshold to 1.5 revenue neutral?
Yeah, man.
What did you tell them?
And I told them that didn't make any sense. It is going to cost $32 billion in taxes, and it is going to slow down the economy. They told the people that, including Savon Williams, Albin Hill, that it wouldn't cost anything and that it would lead to 5 in 4. Here we are now, after 9 years, we have minus 2.8 in 9 years.
So we're almost going to minus 5 in 9 years.
You're right. That's the point I'm making. As I just told you, America's tax GDP ratio is 25.2%.
How we going to work this out, Ralston? How we going to come out of this now? All right, you use the figures, you use the data and tell us that, listen, the hurricane has come. The hurricane is here. How we going to get out of it?
Well, first thing that we need to do, that is why I say I'm leading this campaign, we need to get the banks to bring the interest rates down.
1.
That's the first thing. That's 1.
Yeah.
2, we need to slow down the pace of debt reduction, pay the debt as programmed.
So, bricks, Ralston, bricks.
Mm-hmm.
So with these 10 quarters of deceleration and 2 quarters of minus growth, we are still paying more on the debt that we need to?
Yeah, man, I'm still doing it. That's the point I'm making. I just gave you the numbers. Up until September, they were doing the same thing.
And nobody will talk to you.
They want to reach 60 but before time. Yeah.
But when we reach the 60, Ralston, what going to happen more than we can get more money for borrow?
Everything mash up. And we have to go back and borrow money in order to fix the place. So the debt in absolute terms not coming down. So we still have to leave the next generation with a bag of debt and under-educate them and give them less road for work with, less bridge for work with, less everything.
All right. So you told us about the banks bringing down interest rate.
Right. And we need the government to pay the debtors program for us, stop running down fast to go to 60% so that them can spend more resources on the country's infrastructure. We talked to Julian about it. We need a procurement process to fix because the excuse with them use that them can't spend the capital budget is because of procurement difficulties. So we need urgently to revise the procurement process to make it easier for the government. Take away that excuse from them. Say, boy, the reason why we can't spend the money is because of procurement. So the Minister of Finance had procurement in his office. Yet him come to the Parliament and say, I can't spend the capital budget because of the procurement difficulties. And him run away and leave it. So somebody else have to fix that. So
but how many years in a row they couldn't spend the capital budget? It's not just one.
No, 5 straight years.
And then you're still going higher every year and you can't spend it. You couldn't spend less or you're going to spend more.
Right, and then him run away and fix it. so somebody else have to fix it. So 3 urgent things. That the interest rates have to come down, the government have to start spending more on capital, and the procurement process have to fix so that they can start spending more on capital. And then now there has to be a focus on the massive training program for those who are in the labor force and those who are outside of the labor force to raise productivity. The creative industries have to be more integrated with the tourism sector, the agricultural sector, the manufacturing sector. Those are some of the things, urgent things that we have to do.
You know, you mentioned the creative industry, and I went to one of those all-inclusive hotels for the weekend. My mother's birthday was on Sunday. And it was Friday night we went to see some of the entertainment. And most of the entertainers were not from Jamaica.
No, from foreign. We know that. Yeah, we know that.
They were not from Jamaica. When I stopped one of them and said, no, speak English. I was like, oh.
Yeah. We know that. Yep.
But tourism also, Ralston, one of our main foreign exchange earner. And we hear the talk, how well tourism is doing. But I was reading an article this morning with Little Barbados. Saturday alone, Barbados welcome over 8,000 visitors. 2,500 of them were sea to air. They're coming by air, ear to sea, coming by air, and we're taking a cruise ship. The other 5,500 were stopover. Now, we might say we might get more than that in one day, but look at the size of Barbados.
Yeah, man. The size of a parish. Higher levels of intelligence, better infrastructure, greater levels of integration, and all of those things. With a debt to GDP ratio of 107%. So if the debt to GDP ratio make you rich, then Jamaica is not one of the richest countries. Instead, we are one of the poorest countries in the Caribbean apart from Haiti. Only 18 in the Caribbean have a lower debt to GDP ratio than Jamaica. And we are the 2 poorest countries in the Caribbean.
And only 80 is suffering more than us.
Yeah, precisely.
Only
criminality,
80
poverty, everything, yeah.
Is growing slower than us.
Precisely.
Ralston, the poverty rate was what in 2016?
12.6.
12.6% in 2016. What is the poverty rate now?
In 2021, it was 22.
2021. But where is it now in 2024?
Well, we haven't seen lately because what happens a lot, the survey of living conditions take 2 years to come out. It's like a history lesson. So, yeah, so we are supposed to be below that right now.
So why take so long to come out?
That is what we're saying. We need to get the survey of living conditions out faster, yeah?
What happened to the census, Ralston?
Well, that's where I'm going. We need to improve our statistical collection because even the census, what we do every 10 years. The minister run away without completing the census.
When will that census be completed?
Well, nobody knows.
Is it a failure on the government why the census has not been completed?
Most certainly. Failure on the Minister of Finance because the Statistical Institute which conducts the census falls under his portfolio and they contend that they never got enough resources from him to deal with census. So clearly he never saw it as something that was important. The only thing that is important here is debt to GDP.
But it's the first in my lifetime because as a youth I grew up, my mother, my auntie, them used to be a part of the census. The census started when? Or when it started? 2022 or 2023?
2022 it started.
It started 2022 and to date it has not been completed.
Yep.
You know, I was told from last year early. A brethren of mine came to me and said, Shaka, me I gotta tell you something, I say what? The man says, see that census? And how them do it, it will never be completed.
Yeah, man, you sure.
And I am seeing it now.
Yeah, man.
And
we have heard a word about it.
But what is the necessity of a population census?
You can't plan properly without a population census. You don't know how many people are in the country. You don't know where they are located. You don't know how many schools to build and where to build them. You don't know how many hospitals to build and where to build them. So you're operating in the dark.
So you would agree with me if I say what we are having in Jamaica is a set of analog politicians operating in a digital age?
Of course. Of course.
How can we do? How can we continue this way?
We cannot continue this way. We're in a national crisis now with all the talk. If you look at what is happening in Christmas, one of the programs I'm doing for Friday is that I'm talking to the various sector leaders to tell me what is it that the Christmas shopping season told them about the country. We're in a crisis. No matter all the pretty talk, we're in a severe social and economic crisis in Jamaica at this time.
You know a song where the cost of living getting higher?
Yeah,
More
man.
sellers than buyers?
Buyers, of course.
That is what I
happening.
am seeing now. When
Yeah,
I
man.
drove through Port Antonio about an hour and a half ago, every inch of the sidewalk was taken up with vendors.
Yeah, man, and nobody buying anything. The same thing is happening in Kingston right now. Same thing.
Where are we going to get the money from, Ralston, to grow the economy, to start production? Where the money will come from?
That is what I'm saying to you, that we need the banks to start lending more money. The banks sit on 1.79 trillion in deposits.
1.7, that's more than the budget.
Yeah, man, far more than the budget, man. $1.79 trillion. That's about 52% of GDP. That's a deposit that people save in our country right now.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's one avenue. We need to get them to start lending more money. Secondly, there's also the stock market where investors can mobilize capital. But as long as interest rates are high, people don't go to the stock market. People go for fixed income. So they're going into the paper, the world of paper that the government has pushed out.
Lazy
So
investment, as the Prime Minister call it.
Yeah, man. So we have to get those money to come back into the economy for productive activities. And we have to use more of our taxes for productive activities rather than just servicing debt and paying salaries. And then we have to mobilize international investments. You're not going to get the international investments with high levels of criminality and the roads are in a state of emergency and no proper hospitals and untrained people. So we have to fix all of those things so that we can get investments from domestic sources and from international sources.
Is it that the government has to also be deliberate about some of the things that we want to produce and helping people to get into this kind of production?
Yeah, man, we have to pick winners. All of the countries that are doing well pick winners. Why I think Biden's Inflation Reduction Act and CHIPS Act are about is to push investments in the areas that are beneficial to the country. You can't, the market, free market doesn't mean a fee for all, you know, everybody do what they want to do.
Right.
That is why you have governments, yeah.
And the government has to create the environment for the kind of production that they want.
Correct.
But what environment is this government creating, Ralston?
Well, we see the environment, a whole lot of confusion and corruption and disinvestment. It's all there for us to see. The Christmas is a manifestation as to what is happening in the country. Corruption, mismanagement, disinvestment, roads are emergency, people are afraid to drive on the roads. Untrained labor force, full employment and poverty at the same time because the people are not properly trained. No investor.
Talk to me about that. The government has them put it up on a wall down a Belmont Road. 3.6% unemployment. Mm-hmm. And you are saying the country is in a recession, people don't have no money, and it's going to get worse, but we have the lowest.
Which is an aberration in economics, is voodoo economics. When you have 3.6% unemployment, everybody's supposed to be so rich that you are trying to slow down the economy. But the fact of the matter is that the people that are working, they are not doing the work that is adding any value. It's more like hustling.
What kind of work the people are doing?
Well, we have 338,000 people that walk up and down and sell on the road and then send them at work. We have 260,000 people who are working at the Chinese wholesaler and sell goods that are produced in China, not in Jamaica. We have about 200,000 people in agriculture using machetes and hoes and those things. That's where the people are. We have 150,000 people in the BPO sector and trying to sell all those high-rise buildings that can't sell. All of them empty. All things are joke.
How indebted are the Jamaican people?
Huh?
How indebted is the Jamaican people?
Well, if you look at the debt of $2.3 trillion and divide it by the population of, say, usually 3 million people, which we don't know because there's no census. Yeah? Everybody was $766,666, almost $1 million.
Everybody who almost $1 million.
Yeah.
All when you're just born and your uncle there for your mother breasts.
Precisely.
You who 700 million.
Yeah, man.
Ralston Hyman, I am of the firm belief that Jamaica can produce its way out of the dilemma that we are in.
Of course.
What is our trade deficit right now?
$3.8 billion for the first 8 months.
3.8 billion US dollar.
US dollars for the first 8 months. Mm-hmm.
So we have exported how much?
$1.19 billion and we imported $4.949 billion.
So there's a $3 billion gap.
$3.8 billion.
$3.8 billion, almost $4 billion gap between what we are selling and what we are buying.
Yeah, man.
My people, simply put, you're earning $1,000 a week, but your expense is $5,000 for the week. You're out $4,000. And if we don't start earning, then the bank and Mr. Joe...
more. That's why you can't get out of debt. So no matter how you service debt, you can't get out of debt because you consume more than you produce. So you always have to borrow.
So why, Ralston, when we have $11.4 billion that we forward sell, it's not even our money, we forward sell it, $11.4 billion. And I said this to you, you must be tired of me, I said this to you. Why wasn't that money invested in some kind of production, some in agriculture, some in...
It tells you the government is not focused on production. The Prime Minister is focused on getting back into power. So it's party over country.
But
the Prime Minister is squandering the country's resources in order to get back into power.
But isn't that foolhardy, Ralston? Because had he put that into agriculture, wouldn't that do much more for him?
Of course.
Would you be able to be criticizing him now?
But what I must say is that will take too long and the elections are before that.
But Ralston.
So is politics over economics?
But you and I right now have a big stick of beat him over his shoulder. As a Prime Minister, you squander the money.
But in the care, my son can go and chat when I want to chat. So when we get back in the power, we're still in the power.
But still in a power and crashing the country?
Yeah, that's the point I'm telling you. Then put party over country. Then put politics over economics.
What are we doing with the farmlands that we have in Jamaica, Ralston?
Idle and Busha grew up on them. You know what was agricultural exports for the first 8 months?
Talk to
52 million.
50 what?
52 million. 52 million in agricultural exports for the first 8 months.
Was there a time when we were better than that?
Yeah, while the food import bill was almost 1.13 billion, the food and consumer goods import bill.
1.13 billion
US dollars
worth of food we bring into the country.
Yeah.
And we only sell 50 million, you say?
Yeah, man. 52 million.
52 million?
Yeah, man. That's why I'm telling you, most of the analysts them attack, them now have no figures. That's why I'm talking the rubbish that them attack. If them have the figures, they will be frightened.
Ralston, coffee. That Jamaica coffee is rated amongst the best in the world. Ginger, turmeric.
The man them there have road in the coffee areas. Not even the road them never.
Sweet potato.
Yep.
Banana. Yam.
Yep.
Breadfruit. And you're saying that all we sold was 50 million.
$52 million.
$52 million we export in our food.
Yep.
Is it that the people of the country, Ralston, don't want to farm anymore? Because we can't just blame the country, the government, What about the people?
Well, government don't give them an incentive to farm. The farm roads, as I tell the coffee man, them don't have road. No matter what we talk about the road up the rural farm road network in Jamaica is in a deplorable state. The farmers can't get no money for borrow from the banking system.
That is the next part now.
Only 10% of the country's urban land is irrigated. And the land that are irrigated, the government are selling them to them friends them to build a house they can't sell. So it's not just the people.
I tell you something else, and I ask you that question, but I'm going to tell you something. 2 years ago, I was the largest chicken farmer, broiler chicken.
All right.
I was the largest farmer of broiler chicken in the parish of Portland.
Mm-hmm.
I closed down the farm, and not one single solitary soul came to me and said, yo, what happened? Why you close the farm?
All right. Precisely.
So nobody not interested.
No, because
rather not come to me and say, what happened? Because I don't want to believe that in a country that food security is not where it ought to be, and you have a man that raise 10,000 chicken in our parish, where the most any one person that raise, you'd have come to him and say, what's the problem? Can we help?
Yep.
But nobody cares.
There's no interest in that man.
I see the College of Agriculture put up one of those modern cube, and it took them about 3 years to get chicken in it.
All right.
What are we doing?
There's no interest in those things. That's the point I'm making. So we have to change the policy focus. The main policy focus now is debt reduction and trying to buy back the election. We have to change the focus to production for import substitution and export, which means that more of our resources will have to be devoted to productive things, training our people, building up our infrastructure, accelerating land reform, accelerating land titling, that kind of thing, changing energy policy. Those are the things that we have to do. The focus of the economy now must be on production. Yep. We have to switch focus.
We're going to another break on Styles and on Caribbean Radio. It's 10 o'clock. Not 10 o'clock, sorry, it's 9 o'clock. Caribbean Radio, Styles FM going to a break. Take the break, Jacko. Join us on the next side. Ralston. Energy. You spoke about energy a while ago. What has this government done for energy? Because the Prime Minister in 2016 promised us cheaper electricity. Right now, we are paying almost 50 cents US per kilowatt hour, up from about 20 cents.
We have the highest in the entire world. They haven't done nothing.
Break up.
Nothing.
Hold on, Ralston. Wait just a little while.
Jamaica's have the highest energy cost in the entire world. That is why the manufacturer.
Hold on. Jamaicans. Ralston Hyman, the top financial analyst in Jamaica, barring none, just said to us that Jamaica have the highest electricity bill in the world. Talk to me, Ralston.
That's why Jamaican manufacturing can compete not only in why I think we have this massive trade deficit. The cost of energy alone makes it difficult for Jamaica to compete in its own market, let alone in export markets. The cost of energy in Jamaica is very prohibitive. Ask any manufacturer, ask any businessman.
So this administration, that's another promise that this administration has failed on.
Yeah, man.
Miserably.
Yeah, man. And once the energy cost is out of work and the human capital is untrained, you can't compete because those are two big ticket items that is needed for competition globally. That is why we have these massive imports and very little exports because we're not competitive.
There's a brother in the chat room named Basil Israel. I want to hear him respond to that. Basil, I'm looking for a response to that. The Prime Minister did promise cheaper electricity rate in 2016.
Because they know that is important to competition, but they haven't delivered.
So they have failed on that.
Yeah, man.
They have failed to deliver the 1.5 revenue neutral. They have failed us on sleeping with your doors and your windows open. They have failed on public transportation. They have failed on agriculture. They have failed on the economic. What would you give this government a passing grade on, Ralston Hyman?
Well, that's why I'm telling you that I'm constantly critical about policy. The only thing that they have to show is the debt to GDP ratio is down to 70%. And they did that by sacrificing the entire human capital and infrastructure of the country. Unemployment rate is down to 3.6%, but at the same time, poverty is increasing. So overall, there's nothing to big them up for.
Somebody said they want to know why I closed the farm. I had a water problem. There was no water, portable water where I had the farm. When I started the farm, we had good water supply. That went down till I was buying water for $48,000 a load. And when the farm was full, a load of water could only serve me for 1 week. So I couldn't continue the farm for the water truck, man.
No,
had to close it. So, Ralston, I am tearing out my hair. Because with all of this, and I don't want to leave Jamaica, but we have to do something to stay here.
Yeah, man.
I heard you talking to Julian this morning, and I know that anybody who going to craft the next budget in what, April? Is going to be a problem. Forecast that budget for me, Ralston.
Well, I mean, it is going to be a very difficult task, and that is why we need to explain to the people of Jamaica fully what is happening so that they know that it is not going to be any overnight fix. The next budget is going to be very tough, right? We can't increase taxes, and you can't cut spending because the people need more spending. So it means, as I said before, we have to get the banks to get the interest rates down so that the cost of servicing the debt will fall. We have to use the savings from that and spend more on the country's infrastructure. Yeah, we have to change the procurement process. Right? So that is going to be very difficult. Yeah. So those are things that we have to do because remember, the government borrows a lot. So when the interest rates are high in the bank, it means that we have to spend more money to service the debt.
Yes.
Yeah, so we need a cut in the interest rates that can reduce the cost of servicing the debt. So the government can use those resources, slow the pace of debt reduction, use the extra money to invest in things like healthcare and education, clean up the place that we can mobilize more foreign investments, start to do some serious productions that the Bank of Jamaica not have to be in the market, mopping up so much liquidity, idle money, putting it in the vault, put our resources to use for production and exports.
Whoa.
Yep. We have to improve confidence in the economy. So the whole about corruption and the whole about mix up with Prime Minister, them things they have to stop. Because all those things throw off investment and lead to a loss of investor confidence.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you are saying that the Olipa report on the Prime Minister coming from the IC will also affect Jamaica's economy?
That will also is affecting Jamaica's economy. Them things affect investor confidence because when people look and see the amount of money what the Prime Minister mix up in and there's no clarity and in a war with the Integrity Commission, those things turn off investors. So between the 3 trillion mixing and the Prime Minister and this whole part mix up, them things affect investor confidence. Between the mashing up of the road and the poor quality of the labor force, them things affect investor confidence.
Whew.
Those things are confidence eroding behavior.
I see somebody a little while say to think about the next budget and tremble and not lie. I am concerned.
Yeah, man. So this is the calm before the storm, you know. That is why we're glad so the people might take the Christmas in a conscious way on this because this is like the calm before the storm. 2025 will be a very rough year. So that's why I implore the people and don't spend half of the money.
The Prime Minister.
Don't go on like
finish.
Whatever. Don't go on like on have no sense. Just take it as just another day and look forward to next year because next year is going to be a very turbulent year. Globally.
Ralston, the Prime Minister said that all the persons who are not in the tax net and not on path, he's also going to give them $20,000 each.
That's another waste of money that might come to another $20 billion.
Hold on. Wait, that may I ask you, what is that going to cost the country.
That is going to cost almost another $20 billion. So between that and the people
tax
now
give
at the
back.
3 million. Yeah. That is like 1% of GDP that is going to cost us, and about $30 billion those two initiatives are going to cost us.
But
If we put those-
why giving that away, Ralston, when you don't have it?
But Colin, you know why the Prime Minister is doing it? The Prime Minister has no credibility, so we're not trying to buy back the election.
But 22,
Yes,
23, Mark Golding said give $40 billion to the Jamaican people to help them out of COVID, and they said that will mash up the economy. He mad.
Precisely.
How they going to do it now?
On the sycophant support, they are going to do it. They are going to do it. They're not busy what happen after. It's about winning back the election. Right now it's all politics. It's all election. It has nothing to do with economics. It's all politics.
So
right
this
now.
is worse than when Omar Davis said that stop the project, them he might run with them
Precisely.
same way.
Precisely. Of course. Omar was spending on capital projects, things that we are benefiting from now.
Highway 2000 was a part of
Yeah,
it.
precisely. What they are doing now is just giving people money to fluff. To buy clothes and buy rum and buy boom and all of those things.
You know what they say,
Come on,
Ralston? They said the stage show them still ram. If you're looking at the plazas, them full of vehicle and a lot of people in there.
Yeah, but the plaza man, them telling nobody not buying them.
Them say more
So,
people have more vehicle, so the economy is doing well.
No. More people have more vehicles, so you run more massive trade deficit and you need more debt because all them vehicles have to get gas from foreign, have to get parts from foreign. Look at the numbers. The trade deficit is widening. It means that you're owing the world more money.
You're spending
62% of the debt is in US dollars.
52% of the debt.
62% of the debt
62% is in US
is
dollars.
denominated in United States dollars.
That we're
is
not
why the dollar-
earning.
Precisely. You're not earning a US dollar. That's not fair. So every year you run up more US debt because the trade deficit gets wider and wider. For the 6-year period that Nigel Clark was finance minister, the trade deficit was $33 billion, which is like 150% of GDP.
The trade deficit, go again.
The trade deficit for the 6 years that Nigel Clark was finance minister, the difference between what we sold to foreign and what we bought from foreign physical goods was $33 billion US dollars, which is 150% of the current GDP. They can't come out of that. They're perpetual debt trap Jamaica right now. So all they're going to use your money and service debt and service debt and service debt till thy kingdom come if you continue on the current path.
And we're not producing enough.
So you're not producing. Yeah, that's the point.
We're
You're
not going to
producing.
renewable energy. We have sunlight, so much of it.
Yep. You have to spend $2.4 billion every year and buy oil. Billion US dollars. You know what I'm saying? Our total exports can't pay the oil bill. You know?
Talk to me.
Last year we exported $2 billion and the oil bill was $2.4 billion. Right now, with the $1.2 billion that we exported for the first 8 months, the oil bill was $1.3 billion for the first 8 months. Just the oil bill alone.
So the export where we have put out, we have to make up that just to buy the oil.
Just to buy the oil, yeah. That's how
Ralston,
bad things are.
I made a presentation to the shadow cabinet a couple of weeks ago.
Mm.
And I said to them that I am proposing to the PNP administration that we start exporting culture.
Yeah, man.
Package Jamaica's culture
Yeah, man.
and export that to the world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The world is craving our culture.
Yeah, man. Which include our food and our music and all of the cultural
Gastronomy,
things.
food, even
Everything.
education, sports,
Yeah, man.
all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because really and truly, if we're talking about competing with anyone in the world,
Those are the things that we have.
it is our creatives that can compete.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man.
I
And
don't
those are the
know.
things that,
I don't know if you ever look at how much culture we import in this country, Ralston,
yeah, man.
and
Yeah,
what
man.
it is costing us.
Yeah, man.
We are spending about $30 billion importing culture every year now.
Mm-hmm.
And we are only earning 2.2 from what we export.
Right, and we're a cultural mecca.
And I am saying to my leadership that we can make 30 billion US dollars if we really invest in our creatives, packaging our culture, getting it out there on the global stage.
Because those are the things that we have that are internationally competitive. Our bankers are not internationally competitive.
No.
Yeah, and those are the people that we are making running the economy. But because those people come from a certain class, because that is also a thing that is affecting Jamaican economy. Yeah. The whole thing about class and them things, high levels of inequality because of class and all of those things. So the people that the government spends most of the country's resources on, they are the ones that are not performing at the international level. The people who the
They have
government
never been able to perform at the international level.
Precisely. You get it.
You said from agriculture we only made $52 million.
Mm-hmm.
Are you aware that the Bob Marley One Love biopic made $177 million US?
Yeah, man. So the whole class relations.
Let me say to Portlanders. The James Bond movie No Time to Die, that most of it was filmed here in Portland, made over $700 million at the box office.
All right. Okay, I think. You know, so the film fund of $1 billion, they never even funded properly. Right? Just $1 billion. Yet you take $11 billion and give people just to go flash.
Just to go flash.
Yeah.
But people don't even get that money yet, to my understanding. That nobody don't really get it yet.
Never get it. That's the point I'm making to you.
And they offered, I think, the same biopic, Bob Marley biopic. They offered them, what, about $1 million US out of it, something like that?
Right. Yeah.
Crazy.
So misplaced priorities and misallocation of scarce resources. That's the problem. So it's not that Jamaica doesn't have the human and financial resources. It's a misallocation of those resources that is causing the poverty. Resources are not being allocated on a data-driven basis. It's about gut feeling and connections and where you come from and where you look like and all of those things.
Because when you fail to complete the census,
yep,
that will tell you where people live.
Precisely.
How many children you have under 12, how many you have under 16, how many people you have over 70.
Yeah, man. It's a remarkably flagrant error, and that is why we have all of this gross misallocation of the country's resources. So it's not a matter of resources, it's a misallocation of the resources based on misguided principles. Yep.
Ralston, anything you want to say to my listeners and viewers finally?
Well, finally, I want to say to the people of Jamaica, we're at a tipping point. One of the things that Richard Pandoy, CEO of Seprod, said to me today, that he can't understand why everybody's so silent and why the people are so silent and I take all of this problem. And that's why I say, we want the people of Jamaica to wise up and rise up and make the man them know. So we know that we are in a crisis and we're not tolerating those things anymore.
A little fool man.
Sit down and take everything just like that.
Me see a little fool man in the chat room. Say we are tell lie because him live in Canada and him pay $200 for him light bill. Now, if him live in Canada and him pay $200 for him light bill, I want to remind him that right now him running a heater full blast.
Yeah.
We don't run heaters in Jamaica.
No. And there's no light bill in Jamaica. Remember, $1 is $1 in every country. You know? There's no light bill in Jamaica for $200.
Exactly.
$200 can buy a Pepsi in Jamaica. Can't understand this.
Can't buy a patty.
Yeah, in Jamaica.
What you need to tell us, Mr. Scott, is how much per kilowatt hour you pay.
Right, precisely.
We are letting you know that the electricity price in Jamaica is about 50 cents US per kilowatt hour. Yeah, that's what we are paying.
You might pay something like 2 cents or 5 cents.
Kilowatt hour. So check that, brother. Yeah. And when we come to make the thing simple so people numbskull like you can understand it. But obviously you're not understanding it.
In clueless, man. You understand what I'm
Ralston Hyman, we are doing our civic duty.
Of course.
By educating the people of Jamaica fearlessly. And we talk it fearless because what we are talking is the truth. So nobody can sue we for where we are talking, because truth is a defense.
From data.
Government data.
By the official agencies.
Government data. The same government we are trying to defend are for them numbers we are putting forward right here.
Precisely.
So, Ralston, continue to do the good work, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Thanks for
man.
keeping us informed.
Yep.
It's a pleasure talking to you. I mean, the news is not really what we would want to hear.
Right.
But you have to take the truth.
We can't be in denial. We have to face the reality.
You know what a man asked me the other day?
Mm-hmm.
A man said to me the other day, say when the labor them come, ask them what time of the day them want to hear the truth, or what time of the month is the right time to talk the truth. Because obviously, them don't want to hear the truth every day.
No, they don't want to hear that, man. No, they don't want to hear the truth.
No,
they want to be in denial. But we're not being in denial. We can't keep the Jamaican people in denial. In order to fix a problem, you have to first admit that you have a problem. And we have a massive problem.
Yes.
And the people who are looking out of them eyes and have no numbers, they can look forward going at the Christmas season and say to themselves, so we have a massive problem.
And I will tell you,
data to confirm it,
I will tell you that this Andrew Holness administration admitted in 2016 that they got a good wicket. They got a solid platform on which to operate.
The whole Jamaica know that, and the international agencies know that, and that is why they told the people that after 5 years, they'll be after 4 years they'll be able to grow the economy at 5% per annum because things were so good.
Solid foundation was set.
Yeah, man.
Proper steel bars put in. Columns were well set and strong.
And I'm wrecked.
Even a man like Leachin lost his reputation on it.
Of course.
So, brother, big up yourself. Big up yourself. Big up the family. Season's greetings. Man. We know we're not overspend for no Christmas.
No.
You know, because we know what is coming.
Right.
And we have to be prepared for it.
Precisely. And we have to prepare our people to face it. Yeah, man.
And that's why we are here tonight, laying down the figures and the facts. Not opinion. This section of the program was not opinionated. Pure facts.
Everything what we say, them can go find it on Statin, them can go find it at Bank of Jamaica, them can go find it at the Planning Institute of Jamaica, and those are government agencies.
Thank you, my brother.
Yeah, man.
Big up yourself.
Blessings.
One love.
Ralston Hyman. Yeah, man.
Brother, it can't get no better than that. That's the best out there. No Dennis Strong, no whatever the next one name. That is simply Jamaican economy. The position that it is into. Good evening, 8047072. Welcome. Me there here.
Yeah, me just check in. I first time for your program, Sylvia. I don't know.
Blessings, man. Welcome. You heard Ralston Hyman?
Yeah, I'm there. I listen to you now.
So you heard where the economy is?
Yeah, man, I know that.
Talk to me.
I know I reach out. I know I reach out that place, man. I'm there. I said to my wife since even say, yo, John no style. I wonder when time TNT get all the government, and what them gonna have to spend?
Nothing.
Yo, we know the thing from back to front, man. We know the thing from back to front. I show we know the private program every day, but the first time I check in for them, I'm not really even too calling from Black, I think, but show me there, I listen to Rasta man, you know?
Yeah, man. Well, you see, this is not a bloggers program, you know?
I'm not cut you. What I say, I listen to Rasta man now, and the other day, I listen to Kin. You know? I hear him say a thing the other day, and then I hear him come back a flipping mouth. I said, boy, to all him see the people them out there in the crowd, like them a buyer, them a shop, it look like it not got the way where him think it would not go hard. You know, like I must say the economy did a boom, you know. It's a chin, you know. Not one shit in a sense, you know.
Mr.
And then
Chin,
down
Mr. Awuni,
down
Mr.
at
Chin.
the end now, him start tell people, say, look, you know, and a boom, it really a boom, you know, but there one part where, you know, to only see the people them come out and a shop and the people them do them thing. What time I watch the people them look money where people them send come to Jamaica come give them family to spend, you know. I feel like a government money, you know.
Brother.
You know, say Western Union line full over a weekend. Government can't do without that, you know.
But I one of the biggest supporter of the Jamaican economy. May I tell you that?
I'm making tell you that, man. I'm glad man that they are son when I love them mother, you know. We don't send a thing come give them mother at Christmas. And I them think they are booming. I them think that I'm gonna make a Christmas look like a Christmas. And some people they are foreign and I send something come give them people them. But you don't know. And Joel's administration still not respect the diaspora. You know?
Yeah. Why? We have to thank the people in the diaspora who send the little money come.
Yeah, man, for real. And I look brother when we are talking about foolishness, I come much Canadian and not to Jamaica.
Brother.
Stupid, man. Stupid, man.
All right, my boss. Big up yourself.
When son hot at Canada, you know. When son hot at Canada, you know. I didn't even live for 3 years yet. So I tell you, I didn't even season our system yet.
Yeah.
But when son hot at them place, a straight AC.
And when the cool come,
a
straight heat. From one extreme to the next.
Yeah.
I
don't
know.
pay $200 to light bill. So when I got talk a foolishness
but brother,
my AC.
Brother, 200 Canadian is about 20,000 Jamaican. Right?
20,000.
Call it 20,000 or 21,000. No, any man at Jamaica, we are run an AC and run it regular. I pay way more than that for light bill. You understand? My light bill is just about 20 grand a month. And there's no AC in my house.
I mean, can't tell you this. Yourself Jamaica, yourself Canada, they located at the tropics. We're sitting on a fire, so me can't tell you this. Might be a $10 would have pay for my light bill.
All right. All right. But what?
I sit down sometime in my reason, you know. I'm going to say, Jamaica one of the stupidest thing, you know. Then government, where you say come over here, say, and say, them walk through them place. Come say, Andrew down there bringing needs when they are Canada, you know. You see me? And Canada first rule and now use needs.
All right.
You see me? You say, Andrew want go cashless. Well, that even my mother, me can't get for call upon and talk to her upon the evening. After tomorrow, I'm not sure me can talk to her upon the Kupanga. In my country, in St. Elizabeth. I mean, I try to tell you, say, all the things said, a signal problem. See, them Jamaica, I can't pick up. Signal problem. So you want people to go cashless.
Jamaica, I blind.
They tell people, say, online banking, online spending, and digitize. And no signal now running on the place.
Brother, if you use a car, if you use one of the machine to get little money, I have to get up like 5:30 in the morning. Cause 1 or 2 machine in the town I work. But big up yourself, my brother. We talk again.
I want to tell us that the biggest complaint that I had yesterday.
All right.
The amount of machine.
When now work.
Yeah.
Big up yourself, my brother. Enough respect.
Yeah, man. Big up yourself, man.
Thanks for the call. 804-7072. We're taking your calls. You're listening to the Colin Bell Show live on Styles FM 96.1, 96.5, 96.7 on your FM band on Caribbean Radio HD. And we are telling you people that the Jamaican economy has crashed. Andrew Holness, Nigel Clark, Fieval Williams, Ardley Shaw, they have crashed the Jamaican economy again. And the Jamaican economy is technically right now in a recession. Yeah? 2 quarters of negative growth equal to a recession. Tell them to come tell us something different. Tell them come talk to Colin Bell. Tell them go talk to Ralston Hyman. And make we get the answers from them. They're not talking to us. They will not talk to us. Because they can't answer the questions. And when you see 1 or 2 of them come over here, you realize them take all 5 minutes to answer one question. And we know by our training that when you ask somebody a question, a simple yes or no question, and them might take 5 minutes for answer it means them themselves not comfortable with the answers that they are giving. So we see the trolls over here learning something. But I call on you to stop being a traitor and be a patriotic Jamaican. 804-7072. Talk to me.
Yes, Colin. Colin from California here.
Welcome, California, in the house.
Yeah, man. So I'm here beating off me youth them still, but I still have to get a call because I like the interview.
Yes, man.
Yeah, but I had a couple of questions I wanted to ask Ralston still, but you know, he might figure still. So me
Ask the
understand
question,
this. But,
man.
no, I just wanted to know if I kind of forget some of them. May I draw a blank right now? But one of them was if the government spending is also accounted for in the GDP.
Yeah, man.
Okay, because I looked it up, but I see all kind of categories, but I never see anything that specifically say, okay, government expenditures. You know.
Man, the government spend the biggest part.
Okay, which is not good.
Hold the line for me. Hold on. 804-7072. Talk to me.
Yes, good night, Mr. Bell.
Blessings, man.
Yeah, this is Mr. Williams calling from Kingston. I'm a very I follow your program. I listen to your program Saturdays and Sundays, Saturdays and Tuesdays, and I tell you the information that we're getting out of you guys. Me I tell you, Ralston Hyman, I follow him from Power 106 as well.
Yes,
and
man.
we are beat the labor right them from TikTok every night with blogging program with the information that we're getting. Because people foolishness them talk, you know. Them come like them when God, as my friend did I say, when God did rain down knowledge, the labor them open for them umbrella and they mix the knowledge when it a drop.
Listen, up here lie them tell. They know that they are lying.
Nonsense.
They know they are lying, my brother.
Nonsense, stupidity, everything the Prime Minister said, them just work with it because they're not yes people. It's a cult party, you know. It's a cult party, man. Yes people, yes man, yes woman. And even the JCC, probably when you guys were on the JCC, that's the Jamaica Chamber of Commerce president said they have a 10% decline in the amount of sales that they saw from last year this year.
Listen, people
10%, you know. The JCC president, you know, we are taught this all the while, you know, say, though you see the place them full of people not buying, they don't have the money to buy.
They don't have the money to buy, my brother.
They don't have the money to buy, so I don't understand why is it that the people, well, we hear it every in a Clarendon pan the news, we hear the vendor them a ball, the downtown you hear them a ball. Even tonight we hear from St. Mary, you hear the people them a ball.
People them not have no money. Vendors are begging for people to shop with them.
Come by me, they are town and
hold the line for me. It is now 9:30. We're taking our final break on Styles FM and on Caribbean Radio. 96.1, 96.5, 96.7. Those are all on your FM band. Styles FM, the people station. Caribbean Radio HD. We take the break over there, so we soon forward. Yes, my brother.
Yes, as me say, the people in my ball all over the country, man. And we know when the price of the goods them gone up, poverty is going to go up with it. So me here Ralston I said 22%, but me dying for starting to the survey, you know, because me know say poverty is supposed to go on that long time.
Yeah, man, that was in 2021.
Yeah, I'm dying for them poverty is supposed to go on 30% right now. Based on yesterday cost of living, the price of basic food items gone out of band.
Well, I can tell you one, in 2016 a pound of chicken was $100. Right now, I when I check it, I say a pound of chicken is $390. But I hear a woman I said pound of chicken now is a $450.
$400 some places in a town, you say in a Kingston, you say when me there, 400 sometimes you get the price for that.
All right, my brother. We have a talk again. I had a caller before you, yeah?
All right then, respect Mr. B.
California, man, when them gone?
No, I'm there, same way, man.
Yeah, man, talk to me.
Yeah, so I was saying, if government is spending the biggest part of GP, or if the government expenditure is the biggest part of GP, that's
GDP, yeah.
a damning situation, because it simply means that production is all the way down.
Yeah, but
Because here,
we're not producing a year. The trade deficit is almost $4 billion.
yeah,
$3.8 billion trade deficit. That's what we have.
yeah, but even if you're not trading, because here in the U.S. the trade we have a run a trade deficit here in the U.S. as well, but we produce enough to take care of what the people need in the country. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
people
we're not
import a lot,
but we're not feeding ourselves in Jamaica. That's the problem.
Feeding ourselves, and we're not producing all the things that we need as a people. So because here the highest part of GDP is actually consumer spending.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
it takes up about 70%. But one of the main thing I want to say is that we can't let them use the excuse about procurement. Yes, procurement may be a problem, but you should have known that procurement is an issue, like coming in, like 10 years ago, because Andrew Holness has been in politics since 96, and most of them has been there for 20, 30 years. So
let me tell you why they're having a problem with the procurement. Lack of efficiency boils down to incompetence.
Yeah.
If you are efficient from your plan the program, from your plan the project, you start set up everything to do the procurement. But if you're not efficient, you're going to have issues. Plus, if you are corrupt and you want everything you do, you want to get kickback from it, that also causes a part of the problem, because the procurement guidelines are put in place to stamp out some level of corruption.
Yeah. Yeah, but to me, if now down to the wire now, like right now is almost election time, right? You're there for about 9 years are going on 10, and now you need to fix everything. So what did you fix in the first place?
Nothing. You them said the third term now is the people's term. So they took the first 2 terms for themselves. Them and the bankers.
I saw you go.
Yeah, man.
All
right, my brother. We chat.
All right.
Big up yourself. Welcome back to the listeners on Styles FM and on Caribbean Radio HD. This is not a comedy show. This is not a comedy show. And I am not a vlogger nor a blogger. I'm a broadcaster. I was broadcasting on YouTube and on mainstream radio and on internet radio. Yeah? So when we come, we talk truth and put facts on the table. We're taking your calls on 804-7072. Talk to me. Hello, good night. 804-7072. We are taking your calls. We're going up until 10 o'clock. It's Christmas Eve. Yeah, man. And a whole heap of people don't have no money to spend. A whole heap of people just gone out ice shopping. The vendors are screaming blue murder because people are shopping on Shein. It is cheaper. Yeah? So the people them now play with their money. While the government I tell we peer lies and I sell with ologyo. And we have a set of labor rights who are not patriotic Jamaicans. They are patriotic labor rights. And we are saying, like Malcolm X said, any man who chose his weight behind a political party and that political party control 2/3 of the government and failed to deliver on their promises, and you continue to support that party, you are not just an invalid, but you are a traitor to your country. Words of the great late Malcolm X. I'm telling you, we need to put Jamaica first. And if the economy crash, it crash. You hold the fiscal discipline when you could just pay what is required to pay on the debt. You are overpaying the debt while allowing the infrastructure of the country to run down because you want to look better interest for borrow while you should be investing in production. You give away $11.4 billion to buy foreign food while you could invest that in agriculture and say feed yourself. Get some more produce. Put in some more breadfruit in some of the lands them. Put in some more sweet potato, some more ginger, turmeric, more ganja, more pear, more ackee. These are things that we can produce that the world craves. Invest in the orange economy, the culture and the creative industry. Talk to me. 804-7072. Talk to me.
Yes, Mr. Colin.
Yeah, man. Wagwan.
So you really believe that Jamaica can invest and be productive in agriculture?
Agriculture, there are certain things that we can compete in, but I don't think agriculture by itself can take us out of the dilemma. What I think can take us out of the dilemma is culture and the creative industry, the orange economy. But agriculture is critical because agriculture can also allow us to cut the food importation bill way down. And therefore, that is a critical part of getting out of the dilemma that we are in.
But the government invests in the last budget 18 billion, and Mr. Ralston, he was saying we only made like 200 million on it.
The government invests $18 billion in agriculture to do what?
Well, that's a procurement budget.
No, man, but that include paying salaries and them kind of thing there.
Exactly. So the government makes nothing. The country makes nothing off agriculture.
No, but
so why would you guys want to put more money in it?
No, what I'm saying to you,
you were saying the government should have put that 18 billion that they
18 billion is how much US?
Couple.
18 billion, 18 billion is not a lot. Hold on, let me tell you.
Exactly.
Because 18 billion 1 8 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 18 billion divided by 160. That's 112 million US. Yeah?
Yeah.
So if you put what we eat and the 52 million where we export, it's just around that. But I'm saying to you that we can do much more in agriculture. And the main thing about agriculture is the things that we are importing. We're importing onion. We're importing tomato. Things like those. If we can stop importing those and grow them here, then it will ease the strain on the dollar that we're using to buy those kind of things. I am of the opinion.
Yeah, it might do that, but it's going to be much more expensive. So, you...
No, but here the next thing.
Poor people can... If you import tomato, the poor people will be able to...
No, man. You ever hear arguments a penny wise and pound foolish? Because you might import tomato and can sell it for $500 a pound. And if we grow it, we might sell it for $600 or $700 a pound. But watch this. When we grow it, we ease the pressure off of the dollar. Plus, we are also employing more people.
Yeah, well, you make the poorer poorer.
No.
Because the poor people can't afford it.
No. I disagree with you.
So the poor people have to subsidize the farmers.
In most country, in developed countries, farmers are subsidized by the government.
Exactly. Rich countries.
So when the government give away $11.4 billion to buy foreign food, if we had invested that in agriculture, it would benefit us more.
No, it would benefit a few farmers, right? And then the poor people are gonna...
My brother,
and the poor people are gonna get poorer. So
no, but when we have a lot of tomato, we can compete locally with the ones you import.
The one that we import.
When we have a lot. So what we need to do is plant more. so we can compete on the local stage. We don't need to
just cannot
import.
compete, but you just gotta admit it. Why we can't get investors to come into agriculture if Jamaica could compete?
Because no, what I'm saying, remember what I said to you, as it relates to competition, it's not agriculture that we can compete in. There are certain products, certain agricultural products that we can compete with, like ginger, turmeric, ganja, breadfruit, ackee. Those are some of the things we can compete with. But
we can't compete with ganja. California kills us.
Well, you know how that kills us, because we sit down too long and wait. But what we are really competitive in is the culture and the creative industry. That is where our money is.
No. We can't compete against Hollywood.
What do you mean we can't compete against Hollywood?
Which Jamaica, can compete against Hollywood or
listen.
We can.
Hold on. We don't have to be better than Hollywood. The culture and the creative industry is valued over $3 trillion US. All we need out of that, brother, is 1%. If we can get 1% of the culture and the creative industry, Jamaica is on its way to wealth. So we don't need to be better than Hollywood or get the same share as Hollywood.
Yeah, we just need them to come invest in Jamaica. How come we can't get them to come here?
No, you see, Jamaica, and everything we have to wait for foreigners. You remember,
we don't want to waste our poor people money.
No, man. No, it's not
waste.
We
want to tax the people and give them it.
You do what?
We can't give more money to Beenie Man and Bounty Killer. They got money. So why don't we try to get
but you're not hold on. You're not gonna give more money to Beenie Man and Bounty Killer. You are going to create an environment for Beenie Man and Bounty Killer and a lot of want to be Beenie Mans and Bounty Killers to make more money. When you have more millionaires in your country, that is how your country get wealthy. You can't be afraid of building millionaires. So the average man on the street who believe that he's a star and him can star in a movie or him can be a big artist, you need to create the environment for him to be that. You understand what I'm saying?
Why can't we get like the black actors to come here? Like Oprah Winfrey, those people.
No, man, but we can get them to come when you create the environment.
Why are they coming?
Why aren't they coming?
Yeah. The PNP has an idea? You got an idea to get them to come here?
Yes, we have a vision of how we are going to do it. And get them to come, but not just get them to come, but we need to create our own Oprah Winfrey, our own Denzel Washington. I believe, you see, a man like Glenn, I believe Glenn Campbell.
Asking, do you want the poor people to fund that? The poor Jamaicans to fund it?
If I want poor people to fund it?
Yeah, poor Jamaicans.
Poor people are going to fund it. Poor people don't have money to fund it.
You want the government to do it?
The government, I'm not saying that the government should fund it fully. But the government must create the environment.
Where the government gets money from?
How you mean? When get $11 billion for give
Eh?
Where them get $11 billion for give
11 billion? Oh, well, that was a reparation money from...
That was what?
That was a very creative idea from Nigel Clark.
What creative? You forward sell the earnings from Norman Manley International Airport and just give it away? Throw it up in the air?
No, you don't give it away. You put it in the economy.
But you could have put it in an investment that it would come back.
In agriculture?
Not just agriculture. I said agriculture and the creative industry.
Exactly. You put it in the economy. So you don't care where it goes.
Yeah.
It was pumped in the economy. It wasn't sent overseas.
No, man. It all buy overseas food. You know how much I go to Shein? You know how much I go buy clothes pan Shein? And buy here pan Shein?
How much?
Most of it.
No, you can't know that.
I am telling you most of it. Listen to the vendors who are downtown vending now. They're not selling anything because everybody buy pan Shein. Listen to the vendors in Port Antonio. They are struggling tonight because most people walking past them with a box. Hold on, man. Most people walk past them tonight with a box under them arm coming from one of the shipping company. All
right, fair. I give it to you that. So 80% went to Shein.
Yeah.
If you put 80% 18 billion into agriculture. How much of it going to go overseas to DeSantis to buy fertilizer and FARC and all the goods for agriculture?
I am saying
The
to you, my
chicken and
brother.
all of that.
Remember what I
Save
said?
around 90%.
No, but
Can
hear this.
We produce nothing here either. So
No,
that's not a
but
good
hear
argument.
this. When you put more sunlight in agriculture, it
Mm.
will stop the
To buy
government.
the
Hold
product,
on.
you got
It
to
will
import
stop the
it.
government from importing some onion, stop them from importing some scallion and some garlic.
No,
And
but where are
that
they going
will
to get the seeds
ease the
from? Where are they going to
pressure
get the seeds from?
of the Jamaica dollar. But let me tell you this, my friend.
Where are they going to get the seeds and the fertilizer from? Overseas.
But
So
we go,
that's not a good
yes,
argument
but
either.
we're going to get the product here as well.
Huh?
We're
No,
going to
we're
get
not.
some of the
Okay.
products here.
So the product going to come from China into Jamaica, and the consumer going to wear it.
So you don't want us to do anything. Just buy
No, we
everything
don't
from
want
abroad.
No, we don't want the poor people, the taxpayers' dollars doing it.
My
we want,
brother.
we want to get people to bring their money in, and
We
just
want
like what Nigel did, he get the money from the
what
foreigners.
Nigel did.
He get the money from the foreigners, right?
Which money you
And
get
they
from
buy the
foreigner?
receivables.
Which
from
money
the-
from foreigner?
They're the ones who buy the receivables from the airport. That's US dollars he got.
But
You know,
brother,
not Jamaican dollars.
but that's
US
our
dollars
money
he
that
got.
would have earned anyway.
No,
What
what?
do you mean no? Our money we would have earned.
No, we don't know.
We lease the
airport could crash.
airport. We lease the airport and we
Yeah,
get
and you
paid
get-
from it. What Nigel
Yes,
Clark did was say,
that's
all right,
magnificent.
pay me for
You-
12 years to come
You have
and give
do
it
you know
away.
anybody who can go to work and tell the boss to pay me 12 years?
I know everybody can do that.
Exactly. That's why it's magnificent.
What
What he
mag-
did was the greatest thing ever.
Brother, but you're
Never
crazy,
done
man.
in Jamaica.
You're looking at your nose, man. You're not look further than your
No.
nose. You have a myopic
You
view
gotta
of
give
life,
credit
my
where
brother.
credit is due. That's the greatest thing ever.
You have a
And
myopic
Ralston
view of
Hyman,
life.
as an economist, he cannot do that. He
You-
cannot have ideas like that.
You have a
The PNP doesn't have
myopic
ideas
view
like
of
that.
life. If you took that and put it in an investment, invest in something that is going to turn that money, yeah, then
We
you could
cannot
tell
lose.
me.
Do you know that we cannot lose? Even
We-
if the airport
aren't we
loses
losing
money,
now?
not losing.
The economy is in
No,
a
I'm talking-
recession. Aren't we losing?
No, I'm talking about the receivable from the airport.
But my brother,
Yes.
I am
Yes, some
saying
things
to
that they're
you,
going wrong.
getting the
I give you
receivable.
that. I give you that.
Hold on. Getting the receivable is good. Is what you do with it, my brother.
So say it. Yeah, preach it.
Is what you do with it. And that's what I am
Huh?
criticizing. Not getting it. I am criticizing what you do with it now. You
No,
squander
you want
it.
to put in agriculture and make them buy fertilizer with it and send it back outside.
But then we could have
And
still sell some
agricultures
more.
are losing.
We could have
know
still
not
we
make
could have
money off
still
agriculture.
export some more planting and
No, we're
export
not.
some
We
more
cannot.
breadfruit and buy less
Nobody buys
chicken
that.
and buy less chicken back, buy less onion. That's what I'm saying to
No.
you.
We put $2 in. We make no money from agriculture.
Brother, I am not saying that agriculture is
You
the
went
answer,
out,
you know.
you said you had the biggest chicken farm and you run left it.
And I did what?
And you run left it.
Yeah,
Because you weren't making no money.
me close it down because I couldn't get water.
you no make the excuse. You couldn't make no money.
No, but
If that-
no. I told you exactly why I closed the chicken
And you live
farm
in
down.
Portland, you can get water.
You ever hear about a place named Shared Forest?
No, we don't know Portland. We're not gonna lie.
Then you know have to listen to what me I tell you, man. There are people on this
But Portland have the
platform.
most water. I'm
Hold
from
on,
South
man.
Carolina. I got-
Portland have the most water, I agree. But there are communities in Portland right now where people are carry water upon them head, where the MP set up what is called a water shop. You go there and you get a jug of water, put in your head, carry your yard, go put in a pan for bed. Right here in Portland, right now.
Oh yeah.
That
That's
may I
why you
tell
couldn't
you.
put the money. That's why it was a better investment to give it to the people who
And
were
that's
working.
and I am telling you that
Because
where
if
I
I-
had the
if-
chicken farm was a place
Mm.
called Shield Forest. Yeah? Half of the community have water and half don't have no water. My chicken farm was at the part when I have no water. Because when I just went there, we had good water supply. For about 3 years, we were getting good water. And then, all of a sudden, if the rain fall today, you get some water tomorrow, you don't have any. I
That's
do
the
have
problem with agriculture. Too many problems.
Hold on, my brother. Hold on. 8047072. Talk to me.
Hello, good night, Colin.
Yeah, man.
First time caller, man. Calling from Mobile.
Welcome.
Oh, you know, name is Junior.
Yeah, Junior.
I
Talk
heard
to me.
the call a while ago talking to you, but he don't look like him live in Jamaica for any time. The same mistakes Saga made in the 80s, where he opened the economy to importation and wrecked the agricultural sector. It's the same thing this man diagnosing again.
You see, let me tell you something what people have to understand about agriculture. Agriculture is not just about export. Agriculture is about feeding your population, able to feed your population. Our food importation bill is about $1.3 billion worth of food we are importing. I am not fighting for agriculture to export our way, but to cut that bill. If we can cut that by half by producing most of the food that we eat, that would ease the pressure on the Jamaican dollar. Where I am looking for exportation to bring in US dollars is from the culture and the creative industry. And that's what I want the caller to understand.
I agree with you there, but I don't think the person understands what agriculture can do. Because remember, I know, 250,000 people involved in agriculture.
Yes, registered.
Right. Now, you can imagine the amount of stimulus that you would create if you have money going in that sector. It's a lot of stimulus. The aggregate demand will be so high. You understand me?
Talk to me.
And then if that sector can hold their own and the entertainment sector hold their own also, you can start to see some growth in the economy.
And you're coupling entertainment with tourism.
Thank you, my brother. That's what every time I hear you talk, I have that almost as a gospel. Because that is where we have to go.
Yeah, man.
We can't depend on the same old tourism and remittance, because we know the American economy is going to go down next year, especially with the advent of who going to become president.
I hear you, my
brother.
brother.
Going to go through a depression.
Trouble did it.
Right. So if the world going through a depression, what preparations are we going to take?
All right. We have to start plan from now. And with the experience coming out of COVID-19, where we saw even when you had the money to import the food, you had a problem. We have to now start looking to feed ourselves, my brother, and stop depending on food importation.
We never learned anything from COVID, you know.
No, we didn't.
We never learned anything from COVID. And then it is so unfortunate to listen to Lucky's like the last caller.
Well, I'm not calling him luckies because some people don't believe that we are competitive in agriculture. But what you need to understand and what we have to do sometimes is try to educate people that as it relates to agriculture, it's not mostly about the exportation of our agricultural supplies, but about feeding ourselves and stopping the importation of agricultural supplies into the country.
But let me differ from you a bit. I can question, you can't, you know. Well, I can tell you, I've never seen a crocodile trained, you know.
All right, my brother. You never see a crocodile get trained?
No. They train a dog.
All right, sir. But not a crocodile.
Not a croc.
Thanks for your call. Little more.
All right. Okay. Yeah, we link up.
8047072. Talk to me.
Great one. Respect.
Blessings, man.
Yeah, man. Ishmael there, man. I'm going to use two words. Your previous caller, I think he was deliberately and intellectually dishonest. And let me tell you why I said that.
Talk to me.
Yeah, man. Hear why I said that now. You had a host. Not a host, sorry. You had a guest on your show.
Yeah.
That was breaking down the data in relation to the numbers of how we're doing as a country. And a part of him breaking it down is talking about production.
Yes.
A part of production is what are we doing for ourselves as a country, not so?
Yes.
Okay. And having said that, what we're doing for ourselves as a country and as it relates to agriculture is almost to naught.
Talk to me.
Right. All right. So I am saying that every country, and I want anybody to challenge me on this, every country that I know are in the world that are producers of and exporters of food feed their country first.
Yes.
Okay. Jamaica is one of the countries that cannot afford to feed itself if there is a world crisis.
Ooh. Right, that's all.
So for him to say that we shouldn't focus on
agriculture,
on feeding ourselves, means that he's basically saying continue to subsidize the big neck man them with the uptown, them can carry in the food them from other countries so them can fatten to them pockets. And I think he was purposely dishonest in that regard.
Yeah, man. But you see, let me tell you something. Worse if he's an American, because I'll tell you one of America's policy, you know. America does not want countries to feed themselves, you know. America want other countries to buy food from them. You understand? So if you as a developing country don't understand that and focus on feeding your people, you will always think it is cheaper to buy food from America. But that is when you get to the stage where you become penny wise and pound foolish. So you spend $1 today, but it costs you 1,000 tomorrow.
No, man, but that is business still enough, Shaka. That is business. But no man, you have a wholesale, don't want you start, you know.
Yeah.
Do you need to do it yourself thing. Then why you continue to buy from him.
Exactly.
So that is business. So you have to be smart in relation to.
If you know, say, me have to plant my tomato on my yard back and plant two stalk of scallion to save myself. Right. Yeah.
So even if let's say, and this is what we're talking about, visionary policies now. Let's say that as it stands, us buying tomatoes. We could use a tomato analogy the same way.
Yeah.
Buying tomatoes from wherever we buy it from. For whatever amount of money. And when it reach on the ground, we buy it for $500 a pound. Right?
Yeah.
Let's say we decide to we're going to cut off that a little minute and we're going to invest in the local people them to grow tomato now.
Yeah.
And the local people them say for the first 6 months, we can't sell it to them for $5 bills. We have to sell it to them for $7.50.
Yeah.
But for the next 3 years, the price will go cut in a half. So instead of you pay the $7.50 feet, you got to pay at least $350 or $400.
All right.
Right? And then 3 years after that, you got to pay $200 fee because you have a sustained crop in relation to
but
tomato.
Ishmael, also watch this. You know. When you are paying the $7.50 for it, you are employing 4 more Jamaicans that will be able now to come buy something more from you. You understand what I say? So when you buy it for 500, Mr. Chin will go buy it abroad and sell it is one, and the man where in a supermarket that sell it are 2 people get employed out of that, you know. But when the man plant it and do all of the work on it, you employ 4 more persons. So you might be paying $7.50 on this end, but really and truly, when you really work it out, it will profit you more.
That's what I keep saying to people, you know. We have become a nation of retailers.
Yeah,
we
man.
don't want to make nothing for ourselves no more.
Our consumers. We are a nation of consumers. We just consume things.
Yeah, man. We need to start make something again, man.
Yes, man.
Free zone and grow something for ourselves. And them, as a country with such rich cultural heritage, why we have so much rice?
But we can plant it too, you know, brother. Rice. We can grow rice, you know, so we used to grow rice.
You know that may I show you, man. So So I mean, back to my point with that brother there. Him grasping at straws, man. Him really grasping at straws. And if he me in the country anyway, him will understand.
If
because
we can
I'm sure enough to run him household. I'm almost sure enough to run him household, man.
All
We
right,
are
yeah, my
taxing,
brother.
man.
Big up yourself.
All right,
Thanks for the call,
big
man.
up, big brother.
Blessings, man. Let me tell you something, people. We have to produce as a country. That's how we're going to come out of the debt that we are in. If we don't start producing, start feeding ourselves. I'm going to tell you this, as me say, the importation bill is about 1.3 billion. If we can cut that to 700 million, yeah, we're saving 500 million or 600 million dollars worth of US. What is wrong with that? That will ease the pressure of the Jamaican dollar. Because at them think they make the Jamaican dollar devalue, because you have to get more US to buy the food to feed us. Michael Manley tell we long time. Eat what you grow and grow what you eat. Cut the food importation bill. We need to invest in more alternative energy. Solar, wind, and cut the importation bill for oil. Those are bills we can cut. And we need to do that. We need to invest in the orange economy, the culture and the creative industry. When we start investing in the culture and the creative industry, we will get more out of tourism. And here the man asks me if we can compete with Hollywood. Nollywood in India, they are making from the culture and the creative industry $120 billion annually. What them call the one in Nigeria? Follywood, or whatever the one in Nigeria name. They are not competing with Hollywood, but they are making $50 billion US annually from the culture and the creative industry. I am saying that Jamaica, with our competitive edge, we are only looking $30 billion a year, 1% of the culture and the creative industry. That is where our wealth lies, in that industry. Just imagine we in Jamaica filming 12 movies for the year and the money coming back to us. I remind you, the Bob Marley biopic is not a movie. It's a biopic. It make 170 million US. 170 million. Yes, it was done by foreigners, but a Jamaican content. No Time to Die, the James Bond movie. Lot of it was filmed right here in Port Antonio. That made over 700 million, close to $1 billion US. We don't have to make them the big money there. But let's say we can make 100 million US from each one of our movies. Spending Jamaican dollar to make them and earning US. We need to create our own operas. I was about to tell the brethren that I am confident that a Glenn Campbell is more talented than Will Smith. Oliver Samuels is just as or as more talented than when name the one where them send a prison the whole man there. We have talented people in Jamaica. There's nobody like a Usain Bolt anywhere around the world. But we have not made the kind of money from a Usain Bolt. We can still make whole heap more money out of a Bob Marley movie or a Bob Marley biopic. So, I'm saying to you, my people, all is not lost. All is not lost. And with vision, we can make it. The Bible tells us that where there is no vision, the people perish. Let me thank Father Jacko in the studios of Styles FM for yet another Tuesday evening teaching the people. Let me thank the people over there at Caribbean Radio HD. And a big thank you to Ralston Hyman, Jamaica's #1 financial analyst. I will say that without any fear of contradiction. Thanks to you, the callers who called in. Thanks to the people in the chat room. Even the Labourite bloggers, them. They are over here and they are learning. Bless up. Big up on yourself. One love. May the good Lord continue to bless and keep you. Make his face shine upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his light and give you his peace, now and forevermore. Until we meet again next week. Shaka to the fame, Colin Bell saying, season's greetings and Happy New Year when it comes. Bless up.